Ah, F Sport. It stands for fast sporty, friendly fast sporty, F friendly sport. I don't know. But it helps make the car go very fast and handle very well with a package that includes all kind of good things. You see, flying by. Yes, look, we have another one of the badges here. Yes, F Sport. Excellent. As Winnie the Pooh once said to Piglet, "Piglet, it is a blustery day." Welcome to a blustery day, and welcome to an equally blustery vehicle, the 2022 Lexus RX350, all-wheel drive, F-Sport, a stunning revelation in the world of F-Sports. Let's have a look at this sticker, shall we? Ha! We have, as you can see, a lot of options on this particular vehicle that takes it up to a grand price of $62,885. However, there's an awful lot in this car, and one of my favorite things about it is it has a normally aspirated V6 engine. And if there's one thing I know about Lexus cars, a normally aspirated V6 engine is a true friend indeed. Not only are they very smooth, refined, and give excellent response, they tend to get pretty good gas mileage too, which is always important. And if you look at the fact that everything's going towards everything's fuel injected. I mean, even my damn mule is fuel injected. Everything is going toward inline fours that are turbocharged or V6s that are twin turbocharged. And while these are lovely engines, they do add an awful lot of complexity. And I'm not into complexity, man. I like simplicity or technology that's done to be very user serviceable and most of all, really reliable. Let's look under the hood, shall we? Huzzah! He says look under the hood, and here he makes it so. So here we have the aforementioned V6 engine. It's a 3.5 liter, and it has 267 horsepower, I believe. No, wait, that's torque. It's 295 horsepower and 267 in the way of torque. And there's a Twin Beach flying over, and he's below the FAA minimums. I will report him shortly. So look in the back of this engine. We got the intake side and the exhaust side, and on the exhaust side we have no turbocharger. So you get all that power in a beautiful classic V6 style. Always been a V6 in this particular vehicle in the RX series, and it's always been a wonderful power plant. Exactly what you need, not too much and not too little. And not only that, there's been little tweaks over time, but for the most part, the hard parts haven't changed all that much, and there's a reason for that. They don't need to.
Is that fantastic?
We have 20-inch wheels on the F-Sport package, and those are considerably larger by 2 inches than 18-inch wheels. 18 is my magic number as far as wheels go. I don't like 20s because so much of the time the tires fitted on 20-inch wheels are so low profile, you hit a rock or something and kaboom, it craters your wheel. But these are fairly thick, so I will give you the aspect ratio if I feel like it, if I think you deserve it, but otherwise it's a pretty good combination, and the Bridgestone tires on this thing are very, very grippy, so that's always good. What of the cargo area? Well, let's have a look-see. What we have back here. And incidentally, this vehicle also comes in, I believe, an L version, which has a longer wheelbase and the possibility of putting a third row in it. But the cargo area as it is on this particular model is quite generous. And you have the 50-50, no, the 40-40-20, no, wait a minute, 40-40-80, 20. Well, you have multiple variations on how you can fold forward the seat backs depending on the cargo configuration you require. So that's versatility. And for the skiing set, this car's got a lot of things to offer because it has an excellent all-wheel drive system. It has plenty of room in it, and it's warm and comfortable for the winter time. And you also have your front camera here. For this does in fact have a 360 camera system, which is neat. I don't know if they're the most important things in the world, but if you do get yourself in tight situations with parking, they are definitely a big help. They do a nice job of keeping you from scuffing the side of the car against the concrete or the side of some other Lexus that happens to be parked next to you. Because let's face it, you don't go anywhere where there's nothing but Lexuses. You'll find no Nissan Sentra where you go. No, not in this car. Welcome to the wonderful interior architecture that is our Lexus RX350 all-wheel drive S-Sport. There's a number of things about it that are great. One of them is the fact that it's very, very elegant, very well assembled, rattle-free, you know, the kind of things you expect from Lexus. And then there's the things I don't like. For example, that thing right there, that square right there, it's right here. That right there. That is your trackpad. And I don't like navigating navigation systems or radios or anything else with a trackpad. I just find it awkward. Just doesn't work for me. I've never ever liked the fact that Lexus did that, but you know, that's the way it is. And here we have our instrument cluster. Now here we have a more traditional look, and I kind of like it. It has its own little quirks and features, of course, but then it also has this damn, I don't know if you can see that or not. If you can't, I'm happy for you. But I am not a person who likes heads-up displays. And I think people that do, well, that's another issue for another time. But the actual cockpit area of the Lexus RX350 is a very well sought out thing. It has a trackpad, yes, but it also has great things like radio knobs. I love radio knobs. It has an analog clock. It's just classy. They've all, you know, Infiniti, Lexus, they've always felt the need to do that. And I kind of like it, actually. It's a nod to this people who still believe time is analog and not digital. Time flows like a mechanical watch, not tick, 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 like one of your electronic things. The display, which unfortunately is having some flicker problems, and I apologize for that. I'm not going to fix that right now because I don't feel like it. Is very, very good. It's a very horizontal widescreen type of affair, but it works very well. Here we have your selector of your mode of driving, and here we have your eco, and then middle, hit it like that, is normal, and then you hit it over here, and sport plus, and custom. I left out custom. Custom's interesting because you can add various elements of different other programs if you were, you know, that so inclined, and that will help you tune the ride to exactly how you want it to respond. Leave it on normal, it's fine. Let us examine the rear seat of this sumptuous automobile. What we have here is this beautiful F-Sport interior. Nice, huh? And as you can see, the floor is basically flat. Always welcome for your passengers. Let's pretend I am one. Wow, there's a lot of room in here. Yes, and the storm's coming, but there's a lot of room in the rear seat, and it's like got windows that are up, so I'm fine when the storm hits. But I find this very, very comfortable overall, and the seats recline Whee! Let's do this again. Ooh, whee! Yes, they're very comfortable. We also have an armrest. Let us examine it. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's good. That's nice there. You open it up there, what do you got? Huh? Cup holders. Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful cup holders. All right. What else do we have now? Map lights are a big thing with me. And as you can see, we have individual map lights. There's one on that side. And then there's the center, which I don't know how to operate. It's very much too complicated for me. Or you could just do that. There, and we have both. Nice. Nice. All right. All right. So, there's plenty of room for your leggings. I am, of course, 6'7" and 190 pounds. In my dreams, I'm actually 5'8" and about 200. So, but I'm very comfortable back here, and I have ample leg room. The seats are fairly far forward for a 5'8" driver, basically. But there's plenty of room in this second seat. Plenty of headroom. Everything here for you to enjoy as a passenger. Driving's more fun. Onward. We're in the smoothly mown grass now. Although there is evidence of activity of large mammals that have made it a little craterous, but this car rides it. It's a Lexus. It rides very smooth. I want to tell you a story about Lexus versus Toyota. Now this is conjecture on my part, based on what I've heard, and I could easily check with Toyota, but by the time you see this, I probably will not have done so yet. Oh hell, this reminds me of something. I gotta stop here for a minute. We will resume this broadcast. There'll be a cut from what I have to do to being back on the road, and it's just like when you get an anesthesia and they put you under, and the next thing you know, you're in the recovery room. It's amazing. Time gets bent in those circumstances. So anyway, what else can I tell you about the performance of this car? Well, you do have your paddle shifters, so you can go to manual, as I have just done. And I'm now cruising along in 7th gear. And that's 6th gear, 2100, 2200 RPM. And that's 5th gear, 2500 RPM. And back to 6th, and back to 7th, and back to 8th, which is about 1350. And that's it, 8 speeds. 8 speeds are nice. But again, only in the most spirited driving adventures should you use your manual mode and your handy paddle column shifters, because you're not going to do a whole lot better in basic driving. I mean, I look at this car as the kind of car that somebody wants that just does everything really, really well from a response standpoint as a driver. Good stuff, you know, quick. Let's go this way. Woo! Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. This little road here is a nice little road. I love this road on my motorcycle. It has a little few curvy bits in it, but it's very nice and scenic. And here we have a person out walking. Hello. 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 We get a lot of that, especially on the weekends around here. People like to go out on what they call a sabbatical. They do that. Now, how's the navigation system on this car? It's typically great. I mean, in order to find a location, you can always do it orally. Orally, men. If I do that, search, and then woo, woo, woo-hoo. Keyboard it and pause. Please use voice to continue. All right. Where would I like to go? West Hartford, Connecticut. It's figuring it out. Please wait. There you go. Fern Street. Oh, wow, that sounds nice. Nice, I could go there. But it will take me approximately, let's say go. I'm not going there, but let's say. My destination is West Hartford, Connecticut. It's actually a fairly large place, but there's my...
The route guidance will start now.
See, now. Now it begins. Now it begins.
Providence Turnpike.
Okay. I can do that. I can do that now. The orientation right now is north and south. In other words, it is navigational north, magnetic north, and true north is all to the top of the screen, and then south is to the bottom. And I am currently heading almost due south, looking for Route 6. But as you can see, it works fine. It works just fine.
Proceed about 1 mile to Providence Turnpike.
Hey. All right, then. Now we go to destination. And down here. What if I want to quit going here? This is a problem I always have with navigation systems. How do you stop it? The Lexus first aid kit. Isn't that great? It comes right off of there because of the Velcro or some offshoot. Hang on just a second, Leo. I'm going to put you down for a minute. Hang on. Let me open this up for you. I'm going to open this up. What do we have in here? Oh, man, we got all kinds of stuff. Someone's been in here. No, I don't think so. But we have Band-Aids. We have... oh, wow, that looks like Dr. McCoy's hypodermic. Cool. We really are living in the future, you know. Big bandages, small bandages. Look at all this great stuff. DC Safety is the brand. I've never heard of them, but I bet there's another soft bandage. Looks like a compress. Yep. Compressive bandage thingy. I'm impressed, Lexus. Now, you know, this is thinking. If you don't have a first aid kit in your car, get one. Because we have them, I have them in all our vehicles, all 7,500 of them. My entire fleet. It's actually much smaller than that. There we go. And at the very least, hopefully you'll never have to use it in a crash situation when you come upon a crash. But they're extremely good to have just when somebody cuts themselves, you can run out to the car, no matter where you are, and take care of it. You never know what you're gonna get as you travel the road ahead. Thank you, man. Once again, I use the ability to set the tracking distance behind the vehicle in front of me, all for safety. It's this kind of man I am, you understand? I believe in safety. I believe I won't crash. I believe I don't miss cigarette ash. There goes the police. No, that's somebody that actually bought an Explorer that didn't have to. I kid the Ford Explorer. I kid. It's a very Ford vehicle. I'm still, you know, I have never been convinced about unibody construction versus body on frame when it comes to really heavy duty vehicles. Nothing I've seen has maybe changed that. Even if you ever want to follow the evolution of body on frame into unibody construction in a rugged off-road type vehicle, follow Land Rover, especially Range Rover, because they've even Land Rover is now done with their new Defender, has made it into a unibody, and I'm just not convinced that's the smartest way to go. It is the smartest way to go in terms of crash protection, and I was told by an engineer that worked on the new Range Rovers, because I was at probably the last intro I think I went to, new car intros. I quit going to them because they're just too time consuming. But this is for the this is out in the middle of a beautiful billionaire's property that he was a big Land Rover Range Rover fan, so he let them do their off-road launch part of the experience on his property, which you could actually see the Pacific Ocean from where I was. It was amazing. But during lunch I sat down with one of the engineers and we started to talk about the use of aluminum, and he said when they were developing the new Land Rover and Range Rovers, they wanted to use as much aluminum as possible. Unfortunately, right across the office from them, literally very short walking distance, they went over, and the Jaguar group was there. And it's arguable that nobody has more experience in modern cars with the use of aluminum than Jaguar does. It's one of the things that Ford did when they briefly owned Jaguar, was they stole a lot of, they didn't steal anything, but they, let's see, what's the right word to use? You buy the company, you learn a lot of their technologies, and then you sell the company. Whatever that's called, that's what Ford did. And that's why you see the all aluminum body on the Ford F-150 and everything else. That's where they came from. But anyway, what the engineer told me was aluminum is extremely good in crash situations. And he gave me the comparison of a old steel beer can versus an aluminum beer can. And when you smash either of these things, the aluminum absorbs so much more energy than the steel one does. And none of that is passed on, like, say, to your foot. Well, same thing when you have a passenger car. The aluminum components soak up all that energy and make it a lot safer, because the energy does not get passed on to the passenger compartment, which is real interesting. And that makes perfect sense. It also completely destroys the vehicle. They sacrifice themselves. Vehicles sacrifice themselves these days in the duty of trying to protect the occupants when they have an accident. They do a real good job at it. Amazingly, people are still getting killed in cars at huge rates that have actually, after declines in years, have actually been going up recently. How people are managing to do it, I think what's taking place of all the lives that are being saved by newer airbags, better crash protection through better engineering for crash protection, that's all being negated by distraction, and people are having more spectacular accidents because they're completely distracted. And of course, it also depends on what kind of accident you have. Like, a lot of people feel safer in big pickup trucks as opposed to passenger cars, and they're right. If you have the right kind of accident, the pickup will keep you safer. If you have the wrong kind of accident, you're just as dead, if not more so. One of my favorite stories about that is not far from where we live, there was a head-on collision between a Dodge Ram 2500 and a Prius, and the Prius was being driven by a couple. Well, I assume only one of them was actually driving the car. The other was a passenger. But they were both in their upper 80s. And the guy driving the pickup was in his 30s, I believe. But anyway, they were severely injured but survived. And he died. So, make of that what you will, but it doesn't, there's no vehicle on the road that guarantees your safety completely in a collision. And so many people are driving around the four-door full-size crew cab pickup trucks thinking, well, it's much safer for the kids. I don't think that's necessarily true. they might actually be a lot better off in a passenger car, a sedan, mainly because the sedan is so much better at avoiding accidents to begin with. It stops shorter, handles better, is less likely to roll over, and pickups, no. As good as they are, they haven't done that.
Do you find this morbid?
I certainly do. Please continue.
Wow, morbid indeed. Well, one thing that is not morbid is this beautiful new Lexus RX350. It's a wonderful vehicle, and don't let the dark coloration that makes it look like a hearse in certain light fool you. It's a fine, fine vehicle, and if you like the V6, I think they may be disappearing for 2023, so you may have to score one while you can. Otherwise, this is a great ride and a great Lexus, and that's saying a lot. So thank you for watching, and take care of yourselves out there. Like, subscribe, and do all that good stuff for me. I'd appreciate it. Otherwise, we'll catch you next time.
Gesallte wollen, es empfiehlt ein